Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. I know this is one pro wrestling fan, but I figure there's enough folks out there who enjoy pro wrestling who also enjoy Ultimate Fighting Championship. Now you're saying, gee whiz, Mike, what are you doing in your car? Why aren't you in the comfort of your own home? It's because I watched this fight through the benefit of pay-per-view, okay? I'm just going to check my audio settings. You still with me, folks? For Christ's sake. God damn it. Okay, buddies, I'm back. It's always something. Just checking to make sure the audio's fine, the picture gets all screwed up. In any event, here we are, this live stream. If you happen to be checking in, feel free to make a comment if you have any thoughts on this fight. Big fight card, and I'm going to struggle with some of the names, but in the semi-main event, this beautiful flyweight woman fighter, Mexico's own Alexa, I'm going to get these names all mixed up, but Alexa winning the title with a rear naked choke, I believe in the fourth round. Kind of a really fascinating way to win. She kind of avoided a spin kick and then got the champion Valentina's back and was able to sink the hooks in, as they say, and get the championship victory. And she was the underdog, or the under female, whatever, the non-favorite. But me and my friend who attended this event with me, we both said she would win, and she won. And then from there, the fight before that was interesting. Once again, the names escape me sometimes, but you had this kind of highly touted guy. Joe Rogan was saying this new guy is like the intelligent fans' favorite, whatever. And it seemed like Neil Jones, I believe, his opponent, could have knocked him out a couple of times, hanging in there. But this new guy is just so rough and ready and really could be a next champion. First night of the fight, first fight of the night, I should say. There seemed to be, on the main card at least, there seemed to be a low blow, a knee to the groin, which none of the commentators caught. Not Daniel Cormier, not Joe Rogan. None of them said, hey, look, that guy just got a low blow, which is a little upsetting that they didn't recognize it. And the guy, kind of cheated, I thought. And then you had your main event. And look, I was hoping that this Ziralgan would, represent France well, my fellow Frenchman, but he came up quite the bit short. He did not do well, and he got his ass handed to him rather quickly. And Jon Jones really has no punishment, no wear for tear, and they're already building up Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic, if I'm saying these names right, and. But, Jones, they're really putting this guy over. I'm sorry. I feel that if you've been busted for steroids or for illegal substances, to me, it's like the steroid era in baseball or something like that. I don't consider you to be the greatest of all time if you've cheated to win. Of course, the person in their car next to me has to come along while we're in the middle of this. Okay. But I don't consider Jon Jones to be the greatest of all time. I don't consider him his bawling and so forth. I think that's unsubstantiated, undeserved. I won't say that he doesn't deserve to be champion or he hasn't had a Hall of Fame career. But I think if you're talking about the whole body of work of the UFC, you have to go back to Royce Gracie, Chuck Liddell, my personal favorite, the natural Randy Couture. Just so many fighters. There's so many fighters. Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, Lloyd Machida, all these wonderful fighters. And did some of them juice up? Did some of them not? Who knows? But we do know that Jones Bones did. Okay. So I just don't, I'm not in the altar of his greatness, to be honest with you. And in fact, for 5 or 6 or 7 years, I didn't watch a whole lot of UFC, kind of the mid to late 2010 era. And you know why? Because of people like Jon Jones and Brock Lesnar. I mean, people that were proven to be steroid users or illegal substance users, yet were continuously getting awarded championships and big fights and big opportunities and forgiveness and second and third and fourth chances. And, you know, Dana was always claiming, like, oh, we're the most legitimate fight company, we're legitimate, boxing's crap, blah, blah, blah. And yet he's allowing these guys to do steroids and all types of things. And because of Lesnar and because of Jon Jones, I really lost my interest in UFC for a time. And then I've gotten back into it in the last couple of years. So folks, if you have any comments or questions, like I said, I went to the movie theater, and, you know, to give him credit, I think it's because of Jon Jones. The movie theater tonight actually had a pretty respectable crowd. A lot of times I go to these UFC events or boxing events or wrestling events, and there's not many people in the theater, but I think the word is caught on. I don't know if that's because of my wonderful videos. I'm not getting a stipend. I'm not getting a cut of the gate I should, or just people are catching on in their own magical ways. But this theater had a pretty good crowd tonight. I mean, I guess I would say 20, 25 people. And, you know, there was quite a bit of people to watch this fight on a Saturday night, 10 p.m., and going to 1 a.m. I'm the last one to leave the theater. I want to suck the marrow off the bone of this thing. I want to watch the post-fight analysis from Joe Rogan and Associates. I want to hear all the interviews. I want to watch the little collage of video stuff at the end. So, folks, I'm a UFC or a mixed martial arts fan. I'm not an expert fan. I know what I know. I don't what I don't. But I do enjoy, you know, these fights. I mean, you know, and I will say that it's interesting. In my lifetime, I've seen the progression that, you know, when you used to think who's the badass in the world, or who's the tough guy, or, you know, who's the toughest man in the world, or the who's the baddest dude around the planet or whatever, you used to think of the boxing heavyweight champion of the world. You know, whether that was Larry Holmes, Mike Tyson, you know, Buster Douglas, Lennox Lewis, you know, Riddick, Big Daddy Bo. But for the last 10 or 15 years at least, even you know, you think who's the UFC heavyweight champion of the world? And right now, that's Jon Bones Jones. Like it or don't like it. He didn't look to be in great shape, you know, but he's an older gentleman now. I mean, he's 3 years have come and gone, but his look did not stop him from beating a guy, you know, three and a half years younger than him, who looked like, you know, the proverbial brick shithouse. He just choked him the fuck out. He used technique. So I can't take that away from him. I'm still not a fan, but I'm probably more of a fan now than I would have been. You're welcome to chat, folks, if you have anything to say. If you don't, that's fine. You can just sit here and listen to my wonderment. This is Mike Messier. This is going live on One Pro Wrestling Fan. I'll be back here tomorrow night. This might interest you if you're seeing this on Sunday, March 5th, 2023. I will probably be doing the same thing tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be 1:30 in the morning after that AEW pay-per-view. Let's see. That show, I think, does it start at 7 with the pre-show and then 8 for the full show? We'll probably be there until midnight or 12:30. If they're actually going to do this fucking Daniel Bryan hour-long match with MJF. And, you know, there's some debate about should that go first on this show? Should it go last? I think it might be interesting if they did it like 4th or 5th. That might be kind of cool. Like, you know, do it 4th or 5th so you don't lose people's interest. And then you can kind of rev people back up with some more, you know, main event fights. And if for whatever reason, I think they're going to tear the roof off the joint, Bryan Danielson and MJF. But if they don't, for whatever reason, you know, you could have a nice tag team match or the women's match, you know, after, to kind of rev things up a little bit, give people a good taste in their mouth. I'm trying to remember the other, like, who's Jericho fighting? I can't even remember all that stuff, to be honest, right now. I mean, I'm just in UFC mode. But I will be back here tomorrow doing this again. If you have or haven't noticed, subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel is now One Pro Wrestling Fan. If you're looking, you're saying, gee whiz, Mike, where's your original films? That's on One Man and a Camera Films, the other channel. And if you're saying, Mike, where's your Mike's Instant Movie Reviews? Have you seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974? Have you seen all these exciting new movies? Yes, I have. Go over to One Mike Messier YouTube channel. Carl, in case my buddy Carl's out there, we're going to have to do a podcast together soon, buddy. I've just been through a transitional period. I do appreciate everybody kind of hanging with me in this transitional period. And for all the new subscribers, the last month I've gotten about 150 new subscribers. That's a huge upgrade for me. A lot of that is thanks to the National Wrestling Alliance Enough Said pay-per-view. I went to that show. I did a live stream like this after that. And I really enjoyed it. And that's going on 3 weeks ago. And I made about 20 or 30 little highlight shorts. So if you want to see Camille and Angelina Love and Billy Corrigan and Tyrus and who's my new favorites? I do like Pretty Empowered. I think they're cool. I mean, you see, this is the thing. I mean, if you compare The Beautiful People 2005, 2007 to Pretty Empowered, you know, it's you see what I'm saying? But I mean, I do like Pretty Empowered. I think they're, you know, great act, so to speak. But you know, it is what it is. So that's it, folks. You haven't commented, you haven't questioned. I mean, I'm sitting here waiting for your comments and your questions, and you've given me the silent treatment. So, I mean, all I had to do is type a little comment or type a little question, and I would have answered it. But you didn't do your part in the live stream. So for those that were watching on the replay, it's not your fault. But for those that are watching currently, I could have used a little assistance here. But you gave me nothing. I'm like Ric Flair wrestling a broomstick. And that's about it. So buy all my books. Go to the upper right-hand corner of this page if you're on your laptop or whatever the fuck. And subscribe. I do appreciate you watching, checking in. Listen to this. Oh, yeah, you like that, don't you? All right. Talk to you later. Have a good tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow after the AEW pay-per-view. Good night, folks. Good night. Oh, God. Bunch of